तो वहीं आम बजट को लेकर कांग्रेस फिलहाल एक प्रेस वार्ता कर रही है। दिल्ली फिलहाल आपको सीधा लिए चलेंगे जहां पर ये प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस जारी है।
The government seems to believe
तो पूर्व वित्त मंत्री पी चिदंबरम इस प्रेस वार्ता को संबोधित करते हुए और अपनी प्रतिक्रियाएं इस बजट पर
present can be asked to wait patiently until the Amrit Kal dawns. This is nothing but mocking the people of India, especially the poor and the deprived. There was not a word in the speech about any cash assistance to the very poor who've been pushed into extreme poverty and suffered immensely during the last 2 years. Not a word for those who had lost their jobs. Not a word about creating jobs for those whose education stopped at some stage at the school level. Not a word about reviving MSMEs that had shut down. Not a word about distributing more food to combat malnutrition and hunger. Not a word about cutting indirect taxes, especially GST, to contain inflation and bring down the prices of goods. And not a word about giving tax relief to the tax-paying middle class or the tax-bearing head of a household. By any standard, today's budget speech was the most capitalist speech ever read by a finance minister. The FM has mastered the jargon of capitalist economics. Read her speech again. Count the number of times she used the words digital, portal, IT-based, paperless, database, ecosystem, global, Atmanirbhar. The word poor occurs only twice in paragraph 6, and we thank the FM for remembering that there are poor people in this country. There are worrying macroeconomic indicators. Top of the list is that the fiscal deficit for 2021-22 has overshot the target of 6.8% and is estimated at 6.9%. For the next year, it will be 6.4%. That is insufficient correction if the goal is to reach 4% 3 years hence by 2025-26. The financing of the fiscal deficit is also a matter of concern. 70% of the FD in 2022-23 will be financed by market borrowing as against 55% in the current year, crowding out private sector borrowing. The worry from the welfare angle is greater. Every key subsidy has been slashed. 1,517 crore to 5,813 crore. Fertilizer from 1,40,000 crore to 1,05,000 crore. Food 2,86,219 crore. The outlay for agriculture and allied activities from 4.3% of GDP to 3.84% of GDP. Crop insurance from 15,989 crore to 15,500 crore. Maganrega from 98,000 crore to 73,000 crore. The total subsidy bill has been cut by a humongous 27%. This is the most unkindest cut in this budget. The finance minister may have forgotten the poor, but the poor have long memories. The next worry is about raising more resources. The FM is betting on heavy market borrowing, an increase in corporate tax by 85,000 crore, personal income tax by another 85,000 crore, and GST by 1,05,000 crore. There is not a word about raising more resources from the rich, especially the very, very rich 142 persons whose wealth in the last 2 years has increased from 23 lakh crore to 53 lakh crore. You will ask me, no doubt, if there is not any aspect of the budget that I welcome. There is a short list of three. One, the FM has promised capital expenditure of 7,50,000 crore in 22-23 as against the revised estimate of 6,02,711 crore in 21-22, and I welcome it. Two, the FM has promised an additional borrowing of 1 lakh crore rupees to the states free of interest. I welcome that. The budget speech was mercifully shot at 1 hour and 30 minutes, and I welcome that most heartily. Parliament may vote this budget because the ruling party is a brute majority in the Lok Sabha, but the people will reject this capitalist budget.
Thank you, sir. Very briefly, आपने पूरा बयान जो आदरणीय चिदम्बरम साहब ने कहा वो पढ़ा, और एक विशेष बात उन्होंने कही, ये बजट पूंजीवादी है, ये पूंजीवादी बजट है। और चिदम्बरम साहब ने विशेष तौर से ये बताया कि 7 या 8 महत्वपूर्ण पहलू वो वित्त मंत्री मोदी सरकार दोनों के सामने थे, पर उन पर कोई ध्यान नहीं दिया गया। भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था 2019-20 के स्तर पर आज भी सरकार के मुताबिक है, तो 2 साल खत्म हो गए तरक्की के। उन्होंने ये भी बताया कि करोड़ों नौकरियां चली गई, 60 लाख छोटे उद्योग खत्म हो गए, 84% घरों की आय टूट गई, प्रति व्यक्ति आय 1,08,000 से कम होकर प्रति व्यक्ति खर्च 62,000 से कम होकर 59,000 रह गया। 4.5 करोड़ 60 लाख लोग गरीबी रेखा से नीचे धकेल दिए गए। पढ़ने वाले बच्चों का, खासतौर से गरीब और ग्रामीण अंचल में, उनका भविष्य अंधकार में चला गया। जिस प्रकार से मैल न्यूट्रिशन में देश 116 मुल्कों की सूची में 101 नंबर पर पहुंच गया, बेरोजगारी शहरों में 8% पार कर गई और गांव में 6%, और जो मुद्रास्फीति है, महंगाई जो है, वो 12% को पार कर गई, और कंज्यूमर प्राइस इन्फ्लेशन भी 6% को पार कर गई। इसलिए इस बजट का सार अगर देखें तो इस बजट का सार है कुछ नहीं, नथिंग। ये इस बजट का सार है। और विशेष तौर से ये बजट और वित्त मंत्री जी ने जिस प्रकार से ये पेश किया, ये वित्त मंत्री और सरकार के जिद्दीपन, उनकी कठोरता और उनकी निर्दयता का सूचक है, उसे दर्शाता है। देश के गरीब के प्रति, देश के नौकरी पेशा व्यक्ति के प्रति, देश के मध्यम वर्ग के प्रति, देश के किसान के प्रति, देश के अनुसूचित जाति और जनजातियों के लोगों के प्रति, और ग्रामीण अंचल में रहने वाले, शहरों में रहने वाले साधारण मजदूर के प्रति। यह एक क्रूर मजाक इस देश के लोगों के साथ है। गरीब की मदद के लिए एक शब्द बजट में नहीं है, रोजगार सृजन के लिए बजट में एक शब्द नहीं है, महंगाई पर नियंत्रण के लिए बजट में एक शब्द नहीं है, गरीब तक पैसा पहुंचाने के लिए बजट में एक शब्द नहीं है, बजट में किसी वर्ग को टैक्स रिलीफ देने के लिए एक शब्द नहीं है। लोक कल्याण को जैसे रद्दी की टोकरी में फेंक दिया गया हो। मैं खास तौर से चिदम्बरम साहब ने आपका ध्यान आकर्षित किया कि हर प्रकार की राहत और मदद यानी सब्सिडी में कटौती की गई। पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स की, जो आज सबसे ज्यादा महंगाई का कारण है, पिछले साल के बनिस्बत 704 करोड़ रुपया कटौती हुई। किसान की खाद में के सब्सिडी में 35,000 करोड़ की कटौती हुई। गरीब को मिलने वाले राशन की दुकान पर भोजन में 80,000 करोड़ की कटौती हुई। किसान की क्रॉप इंश्योरेंस स्कीम में 500 करोड़ की कटौती हुई, यहां तक कि मजदूर की नरेगा स्कीम के अंदर भी 25,000 करोड़ रुपया काट लिया गया। 27% इस देश में गरीब, साधारण और मध्यम वर्ग को मिलने वाली राहत में कटौती की गई, जो अपने आप में एक निर्दयी पूर्ण निर्णय है। शायद पूंजीवादी और पूंजीपति जो इस सरकार के मित्र हैं वो तो माफ कर दें, पर इस देश का गरीब और मध्यम वर्ग भारतीय जनता पार्टी की इस मोदी सरकार को कभी माफ नहीं करेगा। बजाय इसके के गरीबों को राहत दी जाए, बजाय इसके के बहुत अमीर 142 लोग जो हैं, जिनकी पूंजी 23,14,000 करोड़ से बढ़कर 53,16,000 करोड़ हो गई, उनसे अपनी पूंजी साझा करने के लिए कहा जाए, ये सरकार ने एक पूंजीवादी बजट दिया। कोई प्रश्न अब आप पूछना चाहें तो उसका स्वागत है। वील गो वन बाय वन। कैन वी स्टार्ट विद पीटीआई मैम एंड आई विल कम टू यू। मिस्टर संजीव चोपड़ा।
Yes, this is the most capitalist budget speech I have read. Now, corporate tax alone, Finance Minister expects an increase of 85,000 crore. Let's take average capital tax as 25%. If the government is getting an 85,000 crore extra, which means the corporates are going to get 2,55,000 crore profit extra. Because 75% goes to the corporates and 25% goes to the government. If government expects an increase of 85,000 crore, then the corporates will get another 2,50,000 crore more profits. This is the most capitalist budget. There's not a word. I mean, I'm shocked. Not a word about the poor, the tax-paying middle class, the agriculturists. Not a word. And they don't care.
Ma'am, we welcome you.
Did she say something about removing the print media in her budget? I mean, I won't be surprised.
आज तक सुप्रिया।
They don't care. You see, they know that the farmer has to go back to his field and grow crops. The farmer has no choice. That's why they have the audacity to cut fertilizer subsidy from 1,40,000 crore to 1,05,000 crore, and to cut the outlay for agriculture and allied activities from 5.1% in 2020-21 to 4.3% in 21-22 and to 3.84% in 22-23 as a percentage of GDP. They don't care.
Siddharth from A9.
That's obviously at the behest of the very rich people in this country. A crypto digital asset is crypto. They've invented the word digital asset. What is a digital asset? It's only cryptocurrency. Now, by a sleight of hand, instead of RBI announcing it, the finance ministers virtually announced that cryptocurrency is legal from today. RBI has not announced it yet. And cryptocurrency will be issued by the RBI. And digital asset, transfer of digital asset will be taxed at a particular rate, is what she said. Now, all this is clearly not of any benefit to, say, 99.9% of the people of India. This budget, which talks about digital asset, does it make any sense to 99.9% people of India? See, I don't know where they're going to spend. I've noticed that on the capital account, as I've said, they will spend a little more than this year. I've welcomed it from 6,02,711 crore to 7,50,000 crore. That's one expenditure I'm able to identify. Otherwise, where they're going to spend, how they're going to spend is not clear. I'll have to go through the expenditure budget document. Moving away from transparency, the budget documents are not available in hard copy. I had to print my set of budget documents today, paying something like 3,200 rupees. Now, how many people will bother to print the expenditure budget, the revenue budget, the receipts budget? So we'll go through that and find out where they're going to spend. But clearly, total expenditure, these numbers are clear. Total expenditure is increasing from 37,70,000 crore to 39,44,000 crore. That is an increase of about 1,70,000 crore. The 1,70,000 crore, bulk of it is accounted for in the capital expenditure, which goes by about 1,50,000 crore. The rest we'll see where they are spending, but they're clearly not spending to give any relief to the poor. They're not spending to help those who have suffered because of the pandemic. They're not spending to help children who have had practically no learning in the last 2 years. They're not spending to take care of the children who are stunted, wasted, and massive malnutrition and anemia among women and children. They're not spending on those. That's clear. What they are spending on, we'll find out in a day or two.
अगर मनमोहन सिंह कार्यकाल की बात करें तो उस समय अर्थव्यवस्था 3 गुना ज्यादा थी, ग्रोथ रेट भी 8% ऊपर था। वर्तमान सरकार की बात करें, विकास दर काफी कम हो गया है। खासकर जो आय की असमानता है, यानी अमीर और गरीब के बीच खाई है, बढ़ती जा रही है। अमीर और अमीर होता जाता है, गरीब और अब गरीब होता जा रहा है।
Disparity of income is considerably
Yes.
compared to.
You've read the report put out by Dr. Piketty and others. We are becoming one of the most unequal societies in the world. Inequality is increased in India far more rapidly than in any other country. This is a very unequal country. The poor have become poorer. Part of the reason is the pandemic, but part of the reason is incompetent economic management. And the rich have become richer. 142 persons. Just 142. In fact, if you guys get together and do an investigative report, you can print the 142 names. 142 persons have increased their wealth in the last 2 years from 23 lakh crore to 53 lakh crore. 30 lakh crore is the size of the wealth increased by 142 people, whereas the total receipts of the government of India is only 40 lakh crore. The total receipts of the government of India is 40 lakh crore. And these 142 people have increased their wealth by 30 lakh crore. Very soon, the increase in their wealth will be greater than the receipts of the government of India. Immediately, they should have addressed the problems of agriculture. Input prices are going up. Transport cost is going up because of fuel costs. And therefore, they should have addressed why are farmers producing more and more, yet many of them are extremely poor. They are as poor as they were 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Our agricultural production has increased several fold, but the farmer remains poor.